Hi, I'm Miss Emma MM, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, as I stated yesterday, I'm trying to do this thing in October where I watch a lot of horror movies, TV shows, whatever, and review them. Today, they just happened to be playing the original Nightmare on Elm Street down at our local movie theater, so I went to see that. And I had been hoping to see a lot of movies that I'd never seen before. Now, I have seen this, it's classic. But still, I was like, oh, good, palette washer from that thing yesterday. So, I assume most people are familiar with The Nightmare on Elm Street. Originally, I thought they were going to be playing the terrible remake that came out a few years ago. The only good thing about that was that Kyle Gallner was in it. But luckily, someone mixed up posters when they were advertising. So, in case you don't know what A Nightmare on Elm Street is, it's about some teenage kids who are having really bad nightmares, and then they start getting murdered in their nightmares by this guy who was like a child molester slash murderer. So the movie was actually released in '84, which is like a year after I was born. And I have a very nostalgic thing for the Elm Street series because they were always playing reruns of the movies on like, local TV stations on like Saturday afternoons. So it was like a really fun thing to do, when you were home from school on the weekends, like watch a few of those. My favorite is the controversial Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is very meta. So anyways, this is the original, and another thing that I really wasn't thinking that much about, but I realized it right before the movie started that people were going to be like freaking out when we were watching it, which was Johnny Depp. It's like one of his first, if not his first movie role. And he's so young and like just adorable. And I could tell people were really getting a kick out of it or watching it because I didn't really think about this before, but it makes sense. Um, if you're familiar with the movie Scream, which came out in the late 90s, I think 98, and it was from Wes Craven, and he was sort of like trying to reinvent his own movie genre, but by going back and like alluding to all the stuff in the original horror movies that were so popular. And like, shit, okay, so this totally makes sense because if you look at Scream and then you look at this, you're like, oh, okay, brunette girl, boyfriend coming in the window all the time, but they're totally like, he's got blue balls all the time because she won't do anything. I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. So that was pretty cool. You could totally see how he just pulled that out of his own movie and put it in Scream. So, but yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is just great. Like, I've watched it periodically over the years, and I still really enjoy it. Some of the special effects, like, I'm pretty impressed that they could, pull something off like that over 30 years ago. And then there's some that are super cheesy, but I think that always has really gone great, with Freddy Krueger movies, just to have that cheese aspect. Like, even in this first one, I always forget, or I'm not sure, that if the first one includes him sticking his tongue through a phone, because I knew they do that in multiple movies, and it is, and it's so ridiculous. And there's just like gallons and gallons of blood, like spurting out of people when they die, and you're like, that's so unrealistic, but it's great. I don't know if some of these actors had been in other stuff before, but like I always think when I watch it that Nancy's best friend, the best friend's boyfriend, is not the best actor, but he's sort of so bad that it makes me laugh. And the mother is supposed to be like an alcoholic, and when I say an alcoholic, I mean she's up at 7 o'clock in the morning pouring a coffee cup full of vodka. That is dedication. But she always looks like she's on like Valium, which I guess they're both depressants, but still, like maybe the actress was on Valium. I don't know her life. And then it's just, I don't know. And then Heather Langenkamp, which everybody knows as Nancy from the series, I've always thought she was so great in it. And that Freddy Krueger, obviously, Robert Englund is amazing and still is. Like, read his book. I read that a couple years ago. Oh, so good. But it's just like, and it really holds up because I feel like even if somebody had never heard of it and you watched it, it's just like a classic horror movie. And there's some stuff about it that I like that you don't see a lot now, which is like the kids are all around high school age. It looks like Heather's probably was 17 or 18 when they shot the movie. maybe Johnny Depp was like 20 or 21, but still, you didn't have people who were like 30 years old playing a teenager. And then, like, she even says, "Oh, I'm so tired looking. I look like I'm 20," which is funny because you can tell she's not even 20. And like, she dresses like a yuppie girl in the 80s who's not hypersexualized. Like, she's wearing like cable knit sweater vest with high-waisted, you know, khaki pants, and it's just like, this is realistic to what someone would wear to school, not like tube top Daisy Dukes, you know what I mean? So that, I mean, I'm not against sexualizing people, if that's your thing, if you want to, but like, just to see that's kind of refreshing. And like I said, Johnny Depp is freaking adorable, and he's just trying to be like really nonchalant, but I don't know. It's like, you can tell he hasn't had like a lot of experience acting here, but he's still like so cute. And I'm just not going to address anything else about Johnny Depp right now. I can't even fathom that stuff. But basically all of her friends, and spoilers, but I mean, if you've never seen this movie and it's been out for over 30 years, that's your problem. Her friends are all getting murdered, and then she has the idea that one time when she has a nightmare, she actually takes Freddy's hat and comes through with it. And she's like, I'll take him through with it. And I'm just sitting there thinking of how many times I watched the Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episode where they spoof Elm Street, and it's just so great and how they took that out of there. And like, Lisa's like, and to Bart, like, maybe one day you'll be reincarnated as somebody who could stay awake for more than 15 minutes. Like, it's been in so much pop culture stuff. The little movie theater that I go to, they have like a game before the movie to give away a gift card, and this, like, they have to really reach for some things. And they had a really, I mean, it wasn't the best looking Freddy Krueger hand I've seen, and then you just threw hair ties on it. Oh, I know that doesn't, like, it's not in the movie, it's just related to me seeing it today, but that was just so cheesy, it was good. But, yeah, and then there's, like, a little twist-ish ending, I don't know. But the Nightmare on Elm Street series is so great, and like I said, my favorite is still Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which obviously you need to have seen this first, but if you hated that movie, go back and rewatch it. I feel like there's a cult following, and maybe you will like it. And I believe it's the second one where it's like so much gay subtext, and I love it. And there's that guy dancing around with underwear and like all kinds of stuff happening. I'm like, I need to rewatch all of these, and I own them, so I don't know why I don't watch them more often. But obviously, if you've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street, go watch this one. If not, all of the rest, except the terrible remake that came out a couple years ago. And it's just great. It's got it's got a few good actors in it. It's got some other, like, quirky, cheesy actors in it who are still good for the movie. It's got the classic song, you know, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And it's just as good, if not better, than you remember. So 5 out of 5 for Nightmare on Elm Street. It was the first time I got to see it on the big screen, which was really cool, even though it's not like the best setup. Like, they played off of a DVD on a little projector, and all the movies look kind of like grainy, dirty, dark, but it's still great. I was just like, oh yeah, I should watch this on like big HD TV sometime instead of like that. But that was cool too. So check it out. And I'm not sure if it's on anything right now. I think it used to be on Netflix, but I doubt it is right now. But you can still look out for that. And they used to sell the Film Favorites collections on DVD where you could get like 4 movies for $10. So I have both of those. I know there's nicer sets out there, but if you're poor or cheap, like me. And like I said, let me know, first of all, how do you feel about Nightmare on Elm Street? And do you freaking hate New Nightmare? I know I'm pretty much alone in loving it. And what else, you know, how do you feel about everything in it, the actors, etc.? What should I watch for the rest of the month? Because I'm honestly just randomly picking stuff. It's working out pretty good right now, but, and please like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. And like I said, just let me know what else you think I should check out this month. Halloween!